Indy Center Envoy 3369, good evening, flight level 340. Sorry, we had the wrong frequency.
Envoy 3369, flight level 340. Welcome aboard. No problem, sir.
Good evening and welcome aboard. We're on the Cessna Citation CJ4 this evening, and we're going to try to do an IFR flight from Dayton, Ohio down to Atlanta. Actually made this flight today in reverse from Atlanta up to Dayton, but we're going to do this tonight. We're going to try to do this on VATSIM. I'm currently checking out VATSIM online, and it looks like they have coverage in the area, so we're going to copy we've already filed our IFR flight plan on VATSIM, and hopefully we'll be able to get a hold of the Indianapolis Center here and give him a call and copy down our IFR. We'll take a quick look here at ForeFlight and look at the plan that we filed. We filed for the Dayton 7 departure, direct Trivio, direct CVG, direct Louisville, then Nashville, then the Noob waypoint, then I have, and then we will take the Chipper 1 arrival into Atlanta at the Matthew transition, and we're going to request the RNAV for runway 26 left if possible. So that's kind of what we're hoping to get. We're going to jump over here and just see if we can't get a hold of somebody on VATSIM and see where we end up. Let's see how this goes. If I take a look here real quick, Indianapolis Center is 119.550. That is what I have tuned. Good evening, Indianapolis Center. Citation 716 Delta Mike, ready to copy IFR over to Atlanta.
Citation 716 Delta Mike, clear to the Atlanta Hartsfield International Airport via radar vectors Trevo intersection. Then is filed, maintained 5,000. You expect flight level 320, 10 minutes after departure. My departure will be with me, squawk 6601. Citation 6 Delta Mike, you covered?
Be the issue here. Got that up. Good evening, Indianapolis Center. Citation 716 Delta Mike, ready to copy IFR over to Atlanta.
Citation 716 Delta Mike, Indy Center. How are you receiving this station?
Interesting.
Indy Center, any aircraft this frequency, how do you copy?
5x5.
Copy, thank you.
Test. I can get 134.9 on the radio here and just see if they can hear me. Cleveland Center, citation 716 Delta Mike, radio check, please.
And I got two there. I got United 1704 and November 716 Delta Mike. Just looking at 6 Delta Mike's plan. You're on the ground at Daytona, so go ahead and contact Indy Center 119.55. United 1704, just remain the frequency. That last call was not specifically for you, for the contact. No problem. Number 7160.
Indianapolis Center, citation 716 Delta Mike, radio check.
Citation 716 Delta Mike, heavy 5x5, how me?
But don't this suck? This is why I like Pilot Edge better.
Delta Mike, this is another aircraft on frequency. Are you receiving message from center?
All right, well, actually he's messaging me. Sounds like he might be online, but he's not hearing me. So let's see what I got here that I can figure out. Indianapolis Center, citation 716 Delta Mike, radio check.
Citation 6 Delta Mike 5x5, how me?
All right, that time I heard you. Give me one moment here. Let me work out my audio issue. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Sierra 7 Echo Charlie, thanks for the assist.
Headphones on too. Where's my headphones? Try one more radio check there.
Still 5x5.
All right, I've got it. I guess I had a little glitch there. Apologies for all the trouble.
Not a problem.
Indianapolis Center, citation 716 Delta Mike, ready to copy IFR over to Atlanta.
Citation 716 Delta Mike, cleared to the Atlanta Hartsfield International Airport via radar vectors Trevo intersection, then is filed. Maintain 5,000, expect flight level 32010 minutes after departure. Departure will be with me, squawk 6601.
All right, we are cleared to Atlanta, expect radar vectors, then direct Trevo, then as filed. Climb maintain 5,000, then expect 32000, 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency is with you, and we're squawking 6601, citation 716 Delta Mike.
Citation 6 Delta Mike, read back correct. Call short of taxiway whiskey for taxi. We'll give you runway 24 right, just for convenience sake. Current altimeter Dayton 3014.
All right, does it make a difference if we're parked on the north side of runway 06, just off X-ray?
Copy, I see you there. Actually, that area of the airport is closed. I believe taxiway whiskey is the primary taxiway that runs parallel to the runway there.
All right, we will expect 24 right, and do I call you when ready to taxi?
Call me ready for taxi, short of taxiway Alpha at 24 right end.
Will do. Citation 716 Delta Mike. All right, so we do have ATC coverage here. We just had a little glitch that hopefully we now have worked out. All right, so
Indianapolis Center, hello, November 4149 Golf IFR to Champaign.
we're going to take a quick look here at the FMS, because what we are expecting now is a departure on runway 24 right.
November 4149 Golf, clear to the Champaign Airport radar vectors. Maintain 3,000, expect 8,010. Departure will be this frequency, squawk 6603.
49 Golf, cleared to Champaign via radar vectors, according to 3, expect 8 and 10. Departures with you, squawk 6603.
November 4149 Golf, read back correct. Calls for the Mike for taxi. Expect runway 32 for departure. Current altimeter Indianapolis 3018.
3018, we'll call holding short of Mike for runway 32, 49 Golf.
How do I do sleep?
Indianapolis.
Sleep.
Indy Center, FedEx 1425 Heavy, is flight level 350.
FedEx 1425, flight level 350, welcome aboard.
Indianapolis Center, good evening. Delta 27 Heavy with you, climbing 30,000 for 360.
Delta 27, flight level 296, climbing flight level 360, welcome aboard.
November 4 for the Golf, hold short of Mike, we'll hit signature to runway 32.
49 Golf, set transponder mode Charlie.
Okay, setting it to mode Charlie, 49 Golf.
And 49 Golf, runway 32, taxi via Mike 3.
32 via Mike 3, 49 Golf.
Golf, wind 03005, altimeter 3018, runway heading, runway 32, clear for takeoff.
Runway heading, runway 32, clear for takeoff, 49 Golf.
That worked. All right, there we go. We are now ready to taxi at Alpha. All right, so take a quick look here. Scratch pad, we want 5,000, so let's get our heading indicator here. Let's get our FMS mode. Let's go ahead and pre-select 5,000. Let's take a look at our departure real quick. Show plate, 24 right. Departing runways 24 left, climb heading 241. Heading mode 241. Okay, so let's go here with our autopilot panel. So we will go with vertical speed, flight director's on, vertical speed of 2,000. Altitude pre-select is 5,000. We want to be in heading mode, and our heading is bugged at 241. So that should
November 419 Golf 1.5, climbing 3.
Bonanza 49er Golf. Radar contact. Climb and maintain 8,000. Passing 3,000. Proceed direct the Champaign VOR.
Climb maintain 8,000, passing 3,000, clear direct Champaign VOR 49 Golf base.
All right, let's get this thing moving.
All aircraft, this frequency ND Center is going to step away for just a minute or so. Be right back.
All right, he's stepping away for a minute. This will give us the chance to make sure our aircraft is fully set. We are going to fly the Dayton 7. We are going 24 right. We're going to execute that. We're going to look at our flight plan here real quick. Dayton 7, here's our legs. Runway 24 right, departure. We'll do vectors, then direct Trevo. There we go. Direct, boom. We're going to go perfs and takeoffs and 24 right. Dry conditions, wind 020 at 7, -1 on the temperature. Altimeter 3014. Next, rotation speed is going to be 109. V2 is 118. And we will pull flaps up at V2 plus 10. So we will send that to our FMS computer just to make sure that's all bugged on our speed tapes. And I believe it will be, and it is indeed bugged there. So route looks good. And let's go ahead and get our map up here. Let's get our weather turned off here, and we'll go ahead and go lower menu here, and we want to be in PPOS, and that will work. Taxi lights on, nabs and strobes are on. What else we got here? Nabs and strobes are on. Go ahead and get our safety belts, seat belts on.
May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? The captain has turned on the seatbelt signs.
We'll do our passenger brief here.
Please fasten your seatbelt and shoulder harness at this time. May I have your attention, please? Welcome aboard the Citation CJ4 aircraft. Your flight crew will make every effort to make our trip a pleasant one. At this time, please refer
Trim level
to the
set there.
passenger card located near your seat for important safety-related information. Smoking is prohibited aboard this aircraft while the no smoking lights are illuminated and prohibited in the lavatory at all times. Aviation regulations require passenger compliance with lighted no smoking and seatbelt signs, placards, as well as flight crew instructions. For taxi, takeoff, and landing, please ensure that your lap belt and shoulder harness are fastened and all portable electronic devices are turned off. Tables, luggage, and loose articles must be stowed and secured. Seats must be in the upright and outboard position, and your headrest extended per instructions located near your seat. To fasten your lap belt, place the flat metal end into the buckle. Pull on the lap belt strap to tighten the lap belt. To fasten the shoulder harness, pull the shoulder harness strap across and in front of you and hook the metal end onto the stud located on your lap belt. To release your lap belt, depress the latch release on the top portion of the buckle. To release the shoulder harness, unhook the metal end from the stud. Because of the possibility of unexpected turbulence, please keep your lap belt securely fastened about you at all seat. In the event of cabin depressurization, oxygen masks will automatically drop from the...
We can get our flaps set here.
Locate the nearest mask, pull the mask down to the full length of the tubing and
All
place
right,
it over
is
your
our
nose and mouth.
ATC back yet or
Adjust
not?
masks by pulling the elastic straps and breathe normally. Don your mask prior to assisting others with their masks. An emergency exit is located at the right side of the aft cabin. To open the emergency exit,
Heard him say he was stepping away for just a minute, so we'll try to give him a little bit of time here.
turn the handle in the clockwise direction. Pull the top of the emergency exit inward, lifting the base out of the opening and into the cabin. Discard the emergency exit overboard. Exit the cabin by stepping through the opening onto the wing and continue forward off the wing.
Indianapolis Center, citation 716 Delta Mike is ready for taxi at just short of Alpha.
To open the main entry door, first push in on the inner paddle located above
Indianapolis stepped away from his computer. He'll be back shortly.
down on the inner handle
Gotcha.
approximately 90 degrees.
Center's back on frequency.
And lower the stairs.
Indianapolis citation 716 Delta Mike is ready for taxi just short of Alpha.
Placarded near your seat. To don the life vest,
Citation 6 Delta Mike, runway 24 right, taxi via Alpha.
place the life vest
24 right via Alpha, citation 716 Delta Mike.
around your waist, buckle, and tighten the strap. For
All right,
children,
we
wrap
are
the belt
trucking
around
along
your
now.
neck, buckle, and
All
tighten
connected
the
back up
strap.
to ATC, and we've overcome our technical difficulties with our headset there where we had some audio. So I'm trying out a few new things tonight. I'm working with the Cessna CJ4, the new mod, which is version, I believe it's 0.9, where I had 0.8 something before that. Also just received today my Track IR headset, so with the Pro Clip, Track IR and the Pro Clip. So we are trying that for the first time.
1425, contact Washington Center now, 133.72. Hope you have a great flight into Frankfurt tonight. Come back to see us again.
Seems to work pretty well. I'm liking it. I think I'll have to fine tune it a little bit, but we're going to do it with this flight for this initial first flight here, and hopefully things will go smoothly. So. I should probably set this back to live weather. I don't know if we want to watch this in the dark or if we want to watch this in the daylight. I kind of like watching it in the daylight here. So if you guys have an opinion that are watching, let me know. Chime it in the chat or something there and let me know. Hopefully the stream's coming through nice and clear for you. I'm still relatively new to this live streaming piece. I've been flight simming since back in July. Currently working on my PPL in a Satabria, which is a tail wheel dragger, or tail dragger.
Citation 6 Delta Mike, will you be ready at the end?
I will be ready here in one moment, almost there.
Citation 6 Delta Mike, wind 01007, altimeter 3014, runway heading, runway 24 right, clear for takeoff.
24 right, clear for takeoff, runway heading, citation 716 Delta
runway
Mike.
24 right. Entered runway
All right,
24
we're already
right.
cleared.
10,800 feet remaining.
24 right, get out here, line ourselves up. All right.
Citation 6 Delta Mike, when able, check squawking 6601.
6601, let me double check her right now. Citation 716 Delta Mike is squawking 6601.
Copy, thank you.
Alright. Got to turn our pitot-static zone, but we will fix that momentarily once we're airborne here. So we are up. Here's coming up. Flaps coming up. Autopilot is coming on. And let's disengage that. Go right here to pilot panel and let's get our pitot-static zone because that's what our warning is there. Go ahead and turn on some anti-ice just in case. It is a little chilly this evening.
Altitude.
Citation 6 Delta Mike, say altitude indicated.
6,700. I blew through the 5,000. Apologies.
Citation 6 Delta Mike, radar contact, climb and maintain, flight level 320.
Flight level 320, citation 716 Delta Mike. Vertical speed did not load.
Citation 6 Delta Mike, proceed direct the I have intersection.
Direct I have, citation 716 Delta Mike. Execute and go here, and we need to go into nav mode. That should take us direct to I have. Need 320 on the altitude. Flight level change here. Our indicated airspeed down a little bit. 250 knots, 249 or so. Should be at the climb detent. Flight level 320.
Bonanza 49 Golf, Crawfordville, altimeter 3020.
3020, thanks, 49 Golf.
Still in the climb detent. Some panel lights on here. All right, let's take a look at where we're at. We are up at 14,500, climbing flight level 320. We are cleared direct to I have. So he bypassed a lot of our waypoints. We had filed CVG, Louisville, then Nashville. He's sending us direct I have here. So you'll see direct I have down here. I have will probably be just short of our arrival into Atlanta. So we filed for the Chipper 1 with the Matthew transition. So I have will get us lined up, and then we'll start our arrival down into Atlanta at Matthew. Go ahead and take a look here through our legs. There's our Chipper arrival at 13,000. We haven't actually got a runway put in here. We did put in a request for the RNAV 26 left or right, I can't remember. Looks like 26 left is what we requested, so we'll see how that goes. Transition altitude. So we need to hit our barometric pressure to standard there, and we are standard.
Yeah, Bonanza 49 Golf. For planning purposes, current weather, Champaign, wind 35009er, 10-mile visibility, ceiling 2000 overcast.
There's flight level 190, climbing 320.
Dew point -2, altimeter is 3021.
Thanks for that. We'll probably end up shooting the ILS then for 3-2. Appreciate that for now.
And Bonanza 49 Golf, we'll proceed to intercept the runway 32 ILS on pilot nav.
32 right, ILS 49 Golf, thanks.
Be around here with our track hour a little bit. It does seem to work really well. So you can pause that, you can reset it. I can look up, reset it, come back, reset it. So, a couple of things. There was an update. I've been out all week for work. A couple of things I've noticed. I have the Logitech radio panel, Logitech multi-panel. The autopilot buttons here partially work, partially don't work right now with the new CJ4 mod. They work better with the 8.3 or 8.4 mod that I had as far as pressing, heading,
Envoy 3369,
heading a nav and VS, and it would
Unfortunately,
activate.
Memphis Center is offline, though, for the radar services available. Your radar services are terminated. Frequency change to advisory is approved. Hope you have a safe flight down to Dallas-Fort Worth. Come back and see us when you can.
So those autopilot select buttons there actually work when I would select VS, altitude, heading, nav. Autopilot, when I engage autopilot, it does work. What I've noticed is with this new mod that I actually have to, the autopilot and everything works great. What I have to do is actually use the mouse and use the autopilot panel here on the dash and actually press VS, flight level change, nav, heading, approach, those kinds of things. The approach button works, the autopilot engage button works, heading mode does not seem to work. The altitude will sort of work as an altitude hold or an altitude capture. VS mode doesn't work, even though VS works once you engage it to VS, you can scroll up or down and roll your vertical speed. You just can't press the button to activate it. And by that I mean here in your indicated ribbon here on your primary flight display, your PFD in the center. So like right now, LNAV V1 is indicating autopilot flight level change. So typically I would be able to hit nav button here on my multi-panel and it would engage this LNAV function, which is equivalent to pressing the nav button. It did work by pressing the nav button here with my mouse, but it did not work with this. I did a test flight earlier tonight. Just little things I've noticed, but ultimately I still love this panel. I did some other reading and research, and I understand that the way Working Title has this configured, it really is configured to work off of these buttons. So if you're looking for an immersion kind of thing and you're looking for like realism, it's nice pressing these real buttons, and there's absolutely no reason why you can't press those buttons. And even now with when I've got the IR track or track IR, I can actually lean over and in, and you can see that zooms in, and I can see my panels. I can look down, I can lean back, look back over my shoulder, left and right. I'm going to do some calibrating with this probably tomorrow. Just wanted to get a good test in with it tonight. I can look down here at my throttles. What I want to do is make it where I can look down without having to bend my head down quite so far. And just make that where it's not quite as neck breaking. But all in all, it's not that bad. Happy with it. It is smoother. I was using the
Indianapolis Center. Is there any way you could route me into the DC Center? I'm trying to stay on as much online centers as possible. 7 Echo Charlie.
I was using the Smooth Track app on my
That's there,
iPhone there for
7
quite a
Echo
while.
Charlie, copy. Give me a minute here, I'll look it up and see what we can do for you.
Thank you.
So let's take a look at what we have for ATC coverage while I'm at it here. I've got an app on my phone, VATSIM app, where I can actually see the local ATC coverage, and it looks like we are actually going to fall out of that. That kind of stinks. So Atlanta coverage is currently offline. Hopefully that will come back before we get there. This is the quote, one thing that's frustrating with VATSIM. I am a subscriber to Pilot Edge and fly Pilot Edge quite a bit, but it's limited to the West Coast. I like to fly some stuff that's closer to where I actually live and mix it up a little bit. When I got online tonight, the Cincinnati area and Atlanta, there was coverage all the way down, but it appears that that's kind of falling off on me for now. But if I get lucky before we fly out of the area, because we're still going to be in the Indianapolis Center flight coverage area for quite a while still, maybe Atlanta will come back online.
Indianapolis Center, American 1023, currently
If it don't, we'll finish the flight out
sending
without it.
or flight level 190 for 6 up.
American 1023, 9,000 sending 6,000. Welcome aboard.
So we're climbing right up at our flight level 320 now. We like about 100 feet.
American 1023, current altimeter Parkersburg 3007.
We're going to pull out of the climb and into the cruise
3007,
detent. If you take a look there, you'll notice a few
And
different
for American 1023,
detents
we're
there.
currently
We're gonna
direct
pull
Cape
into
stop, starting the ILS 3.
And if you look in this
for
upper
that
left-hand
landing,
corner here,
will you be
you,
on a heading
and you're
or
in
just
one,
continue
you
on that?
actually have some denotations there. So if I press the, see how it just went over into the climb detent.
American
There's the cruise
1023,
detent.
maintain present, get that pulled up here. We'll get you back there over there.
So
Alright,
we've reached our
maintaining present
altitude
heading
of flight
of,
level 320.
250
Our airspeed currently 267, indicated airspeed. That's going to climb. You'll see the red tape coming up there. Currently looking like it's going to be around 290-ish. That's where we're going to redline. So we're going to have to manage our airspeed. So one of the big differences in the CJ4 and the citation longitude, I can't even spit that out right now, is the auto throttle. So the longitude has the auto throttle capabilities, whereas the CJ4 does not. But currently with the working title CJ4 mod, you get the benefit of a really fun jet to fly. You get the VNAV profile capabilities.
American 1023, proceed direct case up intersection, cleared ILS, runway 3, approach cross D-law at maintain 3,000.
Cross D-law at 3,000?
That's a heck of a shot there. What a beautiful plane. Been flying one that's a little bit different color with the red on the engine covers back there. Thought I'd mix it up a little bit and try this one. I'm not sure which one I like the best. It's very similar. It was a red and gray black stripe. It's a beautiful shot, isn't it? A few nice pics here while I'm at it. This is pretty much what it looked like today as we flew from Atlanta. When I flew from Atlanta back up to Dayton, in a real flew Delta Airlines today. So, all right, so we pulled back on our throttles just a little bit. We're hovering in that on the speed tape there on the left on the PFD around 288 knots. That's indicated airspeed. If you take a look at ForeFlight here on my iPad, and I believe you should be able to see that. Let me pull that up and just verify. Yes. So if you're looking at my ForeFlight app, you can see we're tracking over the ground at about 479 knots, and we're 396 miles to our destination. 41 nautical miles to our next is because we had, that's thinking the Louisville VOR, which we're actually not going to go because we've been cleared direct to IFR, which is where we're flying here. So you see, we would have flown Louisville, then to B&A, which is Nashville. We would have then make a left-hand turn to Noob, and then to IFR, and then we start our actual arrival into Atlanta at the Matthew transition on the Chipper 1. So Matthew is our first transition point on the Chipper 1. And you see If we go to the FMS right now, and we take a look at our legs, one direct I have right here, we have no altitude restrictions set right now. The Griff, BB are going to be coming up. There's no altitude set on those either. But as we get into Chipper, we need to be at 13,000. So we will have to enable our VNAV here. So we'll have a top of descent at 13,000. And then we will need to take a look at our arrivals and approaches. Let's go ahead and do an approach here for the RNAV 26 left at the Jerry. Just go ahead and add that in there for now. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go ahead and do an approach here. Matthew, we'll go ahead and, in case he unless he doesn't change, hopefully he'll give us as requested. But right now, also 26. Let's look at our procedures one more time. Arrival. Oh, that's the Chipper. We want the approach. That is the RNAV 26 left. Yankee or Zulu? Okay. We're going to go 26 left, 26 left, 26 left, 26 left. RNAV 26 left at the Jerry transition and execute. So now if we go to our legs, Chipper, and when we start this we have 5,000, 5,000, 26,000 or 2,600, then runway 26 left at 1,047. So I've flown several of these approaches and arrivals into other airports, and depending on what it is, you actually have to meet some altitude restrictions. So what we can do then is, since we've got that selected, is let's go look at the Matthew or the Chipper arrival. So it's our Matthew transition there. 13,000, 13,000, 13,000. We don't actually have any altitude restrictions until we get to Chipper there, and you see that with the line above and below 13,000. So that's meaning we need to cross Chipper at 13,000 and expect 250 knots there. So what we can do, we don't have auto throttle here, but we can go ahead and bug 13,000, so we can go 250 here, and we can set our reminder. And so now we know that we need to be at 250 knots and 13,000 feet at Chipper. We'll listen to ATC if they're back online and see if they give us anything different to expect. So here's Chipper. Okay, so Chipper.
Advance at 49 Gulf. Leaving my airspace. Chicago Center is offline. No further radar services available. Your radar services are terminated. Frequency change to advisory is approved. Hope you have a safe flight into Champaign. Come back and see us.
Thanks for the help. Have a good night. November 4149 Golf over to Unicom.
So the way you actually work the LNAV profile, let's see where we are here, because I don't know how far out we are yet. We're still probably a pretty good little piece. The way we will handle that is we'll note that our top of descent works off of the altitudes that are indicated in our FMS here. So there's 13,000 there. Keep scrolling through, there's a 5,000 selection there, and a 2,600. Jerry is 5,000. That's our initial approach. That's probably our initial approach fix, and it is. And our final approach fix is Deja. Kind of like Deja Vu. That's 2,600. So we need to be at 2,600 as we start the approach. So we'll bug our altitude pre-select to 2,600. So what I will do, since we're holding 32,000 right now, flight level 320, is I'll go ahead and scroll this down to 2,600. But you're going to note that we're actually not descending, maintaining our flight level 320. And what we will wait for is the FMS to get us in track and actually initiate our top of descent, and it will actually descend us down on the arrival and meet the altitude restrictions defined in the FMS. Making about 285 knots in the air. That's indicated airspeed, and we're covering at about 475 knots over the ground.
2828 checked on 370 just north and a little bit east of Rosewoodville.
South 2828, you have center. Good evening. Thank you for that position report. Now reset transponder squawk 6605.
6605, Delta 2220. 2820.
All right, so I did go ahead and preset the altitude pre-select to 2600. I have not enabled the VNAV capability
Delta 2828 radar contact flight level 370, 23 miles east-northeast of the Rosewood VOR. Welcome aboard.
So what you will see is I will press the VNAV button, and that'll turn to V-Alt. And what it'll do is the computer will actually calculate our top of descent. It'll start to flash here in this area. As we get closer, you'll actually see TOD listed over here on our map as we get closer. And then you'll start to see a magenta altitude select here, and then V path will arm here in white. That will eventually turn green, and then it will actually descend us down, and it'll step us down as required. Some arrivals have multiple steps and multiple altitude restrictions, so that actually is really helpful. We don't have as many altitude restrictions on this right now. The main thing I'm seeing is 13,000, and then we get down to about that 5,000 foot level, and then we'll step down to 2,600, and then we actually start our approach onto our final approach then onto the runway for 2,600 down. We will be in approach mode, and the aircraft will take us right down
At American 1023, we're fully
to the runway.
Pilot 3.
American 1023, wind 34006, altimeter 3007, runway 3, clear to land.
Runway 3, clear to land, American 1023, thank you.
Indianapolis Center, this is Southwest 1081, flight level 330.
Southwest 1081, Indianapolis Center, good evening. Reset transponder squawk 6606.
6606, Southwest 1081.
But one of the cool things about the VNAV is it actually manages our descent for
27,
us.
leave my airspace to the north. Chicago Center is offline, no further radar services available. Your radar services are terminated. Frequency change to advisory is approved. Hope you have a great flight in and John. We'll look for you again sometime.
So what that means
All
is...
right, was that for Delta 27? Just making sure.
Delta 27 affirmative.
Okay, Delta 27 is leaving airspace. Chicago's offline. Frequency change approved. We'll have a good flight into Seoul. You have a good night. Sleep.
Southwest 1081 radar contact flight level 33011 miles north of the Terre Haute VOR.
So we will have to manage our airspeed, and we will use the throttles to do so, and maybe a little bit of the spoilers as needed. Take a look here at my phone to see if we picked up any coverage in Atlanta, and we have not, and we are on the edge of leaving the Cincinnati airspace, so we're going to lose our ATC coverage here momentarily, probably in the very near future.
Citation 6 Delta Mike, go to leave my airspace to the south. Memphis Center and Atlanta Center are both offline. No further radar services available. Your radar services are terminated. Frequency change to advisory is approved. Hope you have a safe flight down to Atlanta. Come back and see us again.
Roger that. Frequency change approved, and have a good night. Thank you for your help. Citation 716 Delta Mike. Kind of stinks to lose our coverage, but that's all right. Did this the other day, and I actually ended up picking up some coverage before I got to my destination, so could get lucky in Atlanta Center area, come back online. Not sure I'll get that lucky, but won't really matter. This is I guess our secondary, actually our first long, but second test flight of the new working title CJ4 mod. For the most part, seems to be handling really nicely. I'm really anxious to play with it some more. Tomorrow, I'm sure I will cover some more flights and really give this thing a workout. I was really just getting comfortable with the previous mod, and then this one's changed a little bit. Like I said, the biggest thing I've noticed is I can't use all of my buttons here on the multi-panel quite as well as I could before. Some of the functionality of altitude select, vertical speed, indicated airspeed, heading mode, all of that works. It's the actual engaging of the buttons here that I feel like the working title mod is pretty much requesting or making you need to utilize the autopilot buttons here in front of us to really take advantage of everything.
Hi, American 1023. Welcome to Parkersburg, Mid-Ohio Valley. You can exit right when able.
Exiting right when able, American 1023.
Okay, I can actually see me here just about
Kind
to
of
cross.
funny, I don't think a plane this big is supposed to be at this airport, but...
Now the runway will handle it. What the heck? How you taxi to the terminal pilot's discretion, this frequency?
All right, have a good night. Thank you so much for your help.
I can tell you the other bug that I did kind of experience, I don't know if it was user error, but I've seemed to have had it work before, was actually on takeoff where I blew through my 5,000 foot altitude restriction. I was supposed to climb to 5,000, expect 320 after 10, and departure came on and asked me for my altitude, and I was at 6,700. So I blew through my altitude. However, I had 5,000 selected on the pre-select at vertical speed at 2,000 feet per second or per minute. So I don't really know why it didn't capture that altitude and stop me there. It should have. Don't know what I did wrong. In the past, that seems to have always worked. I've never really had that problem before, but it could have been operator error, because I'm not going to go out and say that that's a bug yet. We'll test it again on another flight, see if it actually captures. But it did actually come on and say altitude, which is usually your warning as you're coming up to your pre-selected altitude. So if I go here and go direct to IHAV, we should do something like that. And now we are actually 76 miles from our next waypoint, which is what I could have done earlier. I just left the original flight plan up there on the screen of the iPad, but now we are actually direct IHAV. So we're 74 nautical miles from IHAV. Then we'll make a left-hand turn to Matthew, where we'll begin our actual arrival into Atlanta on the Chipper 1.
Stepping away will be...
Delta 2828, contact Cleveland Center now 134.90. Enjoy the rest of your flight over to Dulles. We'll see you.
Okay, 329, Delta 2828, thanks.
Stepping.
Sierra 7 Echo Charlie, copy, report back.
Audio check, 7 Echo Charlie.
7 Echo Charlie, 5 by 5.
Stepping away, we'll be back in a minute, 7 Echo Charlie.
7 Echo Charlie, copy, report back. Southwest 1081, pilot suppression, cross Guma, flight level 230, report leaving flight level 330.
Southwest 1081, is that for me?
Southwest 1081, cross Guma, flight level 230, report leaving flight level 330.
All right, I assume it'll be a 230 and report when I'm descending after 330. Southwest 1081.
Indy Center, good evening, Southwest 1605, flight level 390.
Southwest 1605, Indianapolis Center, good evening. Reset transponder, squawk 6607.
6607 for Southwest 1605.
Southwest 1605, radar contact flight level 390, 13 miles west of the Livingston VOR. Welcome aboard.
Thanks, position check. This guy has like that Midwest, like Southern accent that I'm talking to right now. Oh.
It's kind of funny. He still had to push the talk button enabled, apparently, and he was talking about his air traffic controller, but All right, we're currently direct I have. About 29 nautical miles away from that next waypoint. Ground speed of 460 knots, roughly. And indicated airspeed about 281. I could push that up just a little bit, probably.
I'm back, 7 Echo Charlie.
Sierra 7 Echo Charlie, copy. Thank you, sir.
I have 24.7 miles. 24 miles. Still at flight level 320. Let's do a little bit of a scrolling out here. But there you actually see our top of descent line here. Just going to be well after Matthew. So we're coming into IHAV. We'll make a left turn across Matthew. And before we get to Babe, B-Babe, we will start our actual descent down, and we'll need to be at 13,000 by the time we get to Chipper. So you'll see Babe, then Lemke, then Chipper. So at Chipper we need to be at 13,000. So we'll start that descent just before Babe. And you can still see V out is indicated here in orange. 2600 is still on our altitude pre-select, but you'll actually see 13,000 come up here in magenta as we get a little closer. You'll then see a snowflake arm and it's setting its way in here. I think there is a couple of new menus here. Let's see if I can actually figure those out. So there is a well, there's a flight director indicator that can be changed now. So there's the X bar. I don't know which one of those I actually like better. I'm going to leave it where it is. Turn your angle of attack indicator on here now. So we'll go ahead and leave that indicated. Turn our PFD menu actually off. And let's get out here and take a look at what we're doing. What is the aircraft doing? Shot right there in a bank turn.
Indianapolis Center, this is Southwest 1081. I'm going to start my descent down at 230 so I get them by Puma.
Southwest 1081, copy. Thank you.
All right, so there we are, I have. Now we are headed to Matthew.
And Southwest 1081, although the weather is likely to update prior to your arrival. Currently, the weather at Nashville, wind 31009er, 10 miles visibility, ceiling 2,800, overcast. And altimeter is 3018.
Let's take a look, see what we got for ATC in the Atlanta area, or if we picked up any or not.
We copied that weather, and the altimeter is 3018.
That is a big negative. We have no ATC. We are southeast of Nashville now, getting close to the Alabama border. Basically flying parallel to Interstate 24, headed southeast southeast there from Nashville down toward Atlanta. So we should cross over into the northeast Alabama border, and then into northwest Georgia as we make our descent down on the Chipper 1 and arrival into Atlanta. And then we will make our approach the RNAV 26 left via the Jerry transition. So currently we've been in flight for 41 minutes. We're about 175 miles from our destination. Ground speed 482 knots. Indicated airspeed right now 293. So we're just a little bit into the red. So we need to back that off just a little bit. Our indicated ATIS is 119.65. So let's go ahead and tune that. I don't think we'll be able to pick it up since we're not at any coverage
Southwest
here.
1081, leave airspace to the south. Memphis Center is currently offline. No further radar services available. Your radar services are terminated. Frequency change to advisory is approved. Hope you have a safe landing in Nashville. Come back and see us again.
Southwest 1081, thank you so much for your service and being up so late this evening, and hope to see you again.
We'll jump up there and see if we can pick up that ATIS, but we're not going to be able to. But we would be doing such a thing. This new mod also has working COM2 radio as well, so you can actually stay tuned in on the frequency you're supposed to be, and then actually jump over on your COM2 and monitor and pick up the ATIS as you're approaching into an area. Go ahead and have that so that when you're talking to the ATC, you can tell them you can give them your ATIS code on your approaches, talking to towers, so forth. But won't get to test that out right now because we don't have ATC coverage currently. We're at about 285 knots. We are 30 nautical miles from Babe, and if you take a look there on our MFD, the second monitor there, just above our tip of our nose here, we have already passed McGriff, and before we get to Babe is TOD, that equals top of descent. So what you'll actually see is a snowflake start to fall here on the left of our altitude indicator here. Be the right hand side of our PFD, but the left hand side of the altitude indicator. We'll have our altitude indicator pre-select up here at 2600, which you'll see is a magenta 13,000 actually bug itself here on the right, just above our vertical speed, and it looks to me like it's going to preset us. That's that magenta line here on the 2 means we'll probably be descending at roughly 2,000 feet per minute on our descent down to 13,000. And what we will be required to do is manage our airspeed, manage our throttles. The plane will take care of getting us down to 13,000.
Aircraft, this frequency Indy Center is going to step away for just a couple of minutes. We'll be right back.
Still no ATC in the Atlanta area. Still at flight level 320 and approaching our top of descent here very soon. You can notice here on the indicator in the center of the screen now, it did earlier just say V-alt or vertical altitude. Now we have a V-alt path. And you can tell that path because we have the indication over here on the right. Looks like it's going to bug us at about 2,000 to 21 feet per minute on the descent. And we will soon see a snowflake start to fall here, indicating that we're just about to approach the top of our top of descent, which will line up with us crossing this TOD here. Looks like we're crossing it now, but if I were to adjust the map level zooms just a little bit, you'll probably notice that we're still just a little bit short of it. And there comes the snowflake. If you look at it right here, that's our snowflake as we're approaching our top of descent. When that gets down here, even with this line, the plane will actually start to descend. You'll see here on the left, it just indicated TOD. What you don't know if you're looking in this other camera over here, if you're looking at my multi-panel, you'll see VS just out to indicated and selected itself. I did not touch that. And you can see that we're descending at about 2,100 feet per minute. I don't know if you can read that from that camera or not, but now it's 2,200. So the FMS is managing our altitude. Now what we're going to have to do is start coming back on the throttles a little bit, because our airspeed's creeping up over there. I can bring in a little bit of spoilers here, and I can control that airspeed. Take those spoilers back out, bring our throttles back just a little bit here. And again, this is the main piece of this that's a lot different from the longitude, which currently doesn't have the VNAV profile capabilities, but it has the auto throttles. CJ4 does not have auto throttles, but it does have VNAV capabilities. But that puts the onus on the pilot and the workload on the pilot to maintain and manage our airspeeds. We're going to do that with the throttles here. If you were to take a look at our throttles here, you'll see that we're back about halfway. I've got this lever here set as my spoilers. As you can see, I can bring those in all the way to 100% or back to 0. So what we do is we actually just manage that, watching our airspeed. We can manage the throttles here. I want to try to maintain a pretty steady speed there. That's going to be just shy of the red line there, but on the speed tape. So if there's 295, 296, 297. See, it's creeping just a little bit. I'm tapping the throttles back just ever so slightly, trying to maintain underneath that 300. But as our vertical speed decreases a little bit, we're now descending at 2,500 feet per minute. I'm having to tap the spoiler, just ease the spoilers in there. If you take a look here, you can barely even tell I've moved it. See, they're just a very little bit. Makes all the difference in the world. And you can see that I am hovering now at the 296, and I don't even know. Let's take a look. You can actually see a little bit of the spoilers. Could. It's actually right there on the edge of the wing. You can see that little area right in this area here that's actually not smooth, and you can see it right here. They're just barely. If I actually pulled that back further, just pull it back drastically and then pull it, see how they pop up. So now you can see how they're going. So that manages our airspeed. That's how the spoilers have effect on the airplane and its speed. And you can see, looks like below us the clouds have everything kind of socked in. So we will probably be transitioning down through the clouds here in just a little bit into complete IMC conditions here shortly. I'm gonna pull up the app on my phone here just real quick. Take a look at the Atlanta area just to make sure we haven't picked up any ATC coverage, and we have not. And we have now crossed over from the Alabama line into the northwest part of the Georgia area. And we are definitely en route to flight level 130 or flight level or 13,000.
Good evening, Indianapolis Center, west wind 2683, approximately 30 miles southeast of Arthur Fix, flight level 360, squawk 4535.
This is another aircraft. Indianapolis steps away from him. He'll be back shortly.
Roger, thank you.
So we're about 15 miles away from Lemke. Chipper is where our altitude restriction is. You can actually see here on this line here actually indicates where we're going to reach our 13,000 feet, which is right at Chipper, which is what the arrival plate actually showed us. If we were to take a look here, actually we go to plates, and I think it's still up, our actual arrival plate. Matthew, as I have, there's Matthew. We descend on down. There's Chipper. Here's our actual altitude restriction of 13,000. And also a speed restriction of 250 knots. So what does that equal for us? Jump back over here. We're 12 miles to Lemke, and then just a few miles beyond that is Chipper, and we're at 309 knots. So we need to pull back on the throttles a little bit and be ready to bring in some spoilers here momentarily to get our airspeed down to that 250 knot restriction that we're going to encounter.
Yeah, center's back on frequency.
So currently, we're indicated airspeed of 302 knots, 409 knots over the ground, descending at about 2,200 feet per minute, passing through flight level 20, en route to
West wind
1,300. I'm sorry, 13,000.
Reset transponder squawk
13,000.
6610, 2683.
All right, there's flight level 190. We're going to get ready to transition out of here. Let's take a look at Atlanta real quick, and let's get our weather, but let's get the altimeter there.
3002. Contact flight level 360 position as reported. Welcome aboard. Descend via the Jackie 5 arrival, except cross Jackie at maintain 10,000. Report leaving flight level 360.
Copy radar contact, fly Jackie approach, cross Jackie at 10,000.
All right, we're coming up on Lemke now. We're 16 miles to Chipper, and there's where we need to be at 13,000. Currently, and you now see the 13,000 bugged and magenta here on the top right of our primary flight display.
Transition altitude, nearest altimeter, 3007.
3007. Turn that down to there, and we just passed behind us. Was that a cloud? Or what is that? That is weird. There's a gigantic tower that is 18,000 feet in the air right here. That is Jack and the Beanstalk if there ever was one. Go figure. Interesting there. I was like, what is that? I just saw at the corner of my eye.
And West wind 2683 for planning purposes. You can expect the ILS runway 36 right today.
All right, so we're coming down. We are now 10 miles from Chipper, and I am pulling in some spoilers as I try to get us down to that 250 knot out or speed restriction. There's 265 knots, still descending at 1,700 feet per minute, passing 15,000 en route to 13,000. Still descending at roughly 2,000 feet per minute there, and creeping on 270 knots. We need to be at 260, so I'm just going to play with the spoilers here just a little bit to get us in the ballpark of where we need to be, as we are 7 miles now from Chipper, where we have our 13,000 foot altitude restriction and speed restriction of 250. Now slowing down there. There's 259, 258. We're at 1,000 or 14,700 right this moment. Pushing in on our 13,000 foot altitude restriction there. And then we don't have any further altitude restrictions until we get down into our actual descent and approach levels. So there's 255 knots right now at 14,100. 250 knots is our speed restriction. 13,000 is our altitude restriction, and we are now 800 feet away from our altitude restriction of 13,000. 253 knots, so we are right on the money of where we need to be. You can see our plane there. It's actually a really nice shot. All right, less than a mile now. 250 knots. We are on the 250 knots right now. And there's 13,000. And just like that, VNAV did its job.
Flying cargo tonight, sir?
And what you can see now is VPATH is now back armed here in green. 2600 is still armed in our altitude pre-select. Manage our throttles a little bit now, because now that we've leveled off, we're not descending. We don't need any more spoilers, so we're going to need to add a little bit of throttle. Probably to get us back in that 250 knot range that we need to be at. So there's 248, 249, slowly coming in where we are there. Next waypoint is March. There's 253, 252. Hold it right there. Throttles are in pretty good shape. 13,000 level. And we are definitely descending down into the sea.
Indianapolis Center, west wind 2683 is leaving flight level 360
That is
for
quite the
10,000
unique
at JP.
shot right there, because that is
West wind 2683, copy. Current altimeter Cincinnati 3013.
3013,
layers.
2683.
How about that? That is some weird soupy walls there, is it not? I don't think I've seen that being between layers. There's actually a layer of clouds above us and a layer of clouds below us, and we're currently not in the clouds. We're between the clouds. Pretty unusual. All of that is getting ready to change. That is just like massive tunnel almost in here. There we go. We are about to fly in it, through it. We are now in it. All right, let's get back inside. Manage our speeds here. We're still at 13,000 right now at 252 knots. We are 2.7 miles from March, then hydro. Then we'll go down to rain, then cloud, then swept, then Kimmy, then Kiwi. Then we'll expect vectors over to Jerry. Jerry will be our initial approach fix. And then we will just start our lineup on the RNAV for 26 left with our final approach fix of Deja, assuming kind of like Deja Vu. And then at that point, we will engage the approach feature of the autopilot, and the RNAV and the GPS will take us right down to the runway. I did not look here, but
2683 weather
touchdown
update.
is
Altimeter now
996, so 1,000, so 1,200 feet is our
3012,
minimums.
2683.
Actually going in here and setting our
Indianapolis
minimums.
17 for Charlie, Captain 3 descending to right, requesting landing at airport.
All right, minimums are set.
Sirius 7 Echo Charlie, copy. See here.
Coming up on rain. That's the 25 nautical mile ring. We're about 12 miles from rain, and actually we're at 9 something, so that ring is roughly 12.5 miles of range just inside of that. Then cloud, then swept.
Sirius 7 Echo Charlie, send to maintain. Send to maintain 7,000. Fly heading 090. See if we can get you into
Still no ATC at Atlanta.
Descend to maintain 7,000, flight heading 090, and keeping the airport code for that, please.
Sorry, Pineville, India 16.
We're coming up on rain, about 3.9 miles out. Make a left-hand turn toward cloud at that
Current
point.
altimeter Pineville 3004. advise you can accept the RNAV GPS runway 8.
All right, there's our left-hand turn at
RNAV
Rain,
would be good.
and that'll put us about, not sure just yet how far that'll put us out to. Cloud at roughly 7.2 miles, 7 miles out, 6 miles. There we go, 6.8.
Just to clarify, that was India 96.
India 16.
India 16, thank you.
I am in Norfolk Center, Westland 2683. Do we have vectors active, Foxtrot, Lima, Mike? Seems our FNC gave us a few more waypoints than we think we do.
West wind 2683. Actually, you can expect vectors from the problem VOR for the final approach.
We'll go at 150 knots at Kiwi as well.
Roger,
Just go ahead and bug that. Just for my own little bit of...
1605, contact Washington Center now. 133.72. Hope you enjoy the rest of your flight at LaGuardia. We'll see you next time.
All right, thanks, 7372. Good night, good evening.
So we should be flying a downwind right now, a right downwind for runway 26. 26 left, actually. There at Atlanta.
Sirius 7
look out the
Echo,
window
Charlie is set to maintain 4,000.
directly to the right, you can see the ground, you would see the airport over there, but since we can't see it, we're flying between the cloud layers once again. We should technically be holding at 250 knots there as we're getting down close to that 10,000 foot level. We should be coming up on our top of descent here very soon.
7 Echo Charlie, runway length 3,700.
All right, there we go, starting our descent again. Throttles are going to come back. Instant spoilers here. Gonna get ourselves down. Down to speed. There's 200 knots. So we descend on down. 10,000.
Sirius 7 Echo, Charlie, 4 miles to the Waspa intersection, cleared RNAV GPS runway 8 approach, turn left heading 074.
Sirius for the RNAV 8 approach, turn right. Could you repeat that, please?
Turn left 074.
right, there's 10,000. Below 250 knots. That's a good thing. That's what the general speed requirements are, below 10,000, 250 knots. All right, let's take a look at our FMS here. We're going to want to go Jerry to Kiwi. So we are no longer going to take vectors since we don't have any ATC online. We're not going to expect any vectors. We're just going to go ahead and make our right-hand turn to Jerry. Turn our base leg. Start getting ourselves set up for the approach. Those clouds look pretty mean, don't they? We need 5,000. Actually, we need down to 2,600. We need to get there pretty quick. We lost our, because of what I did. Let's get our vertical speed down at about 2,000 feet per minute. And altitude down to 2,600. Getting ourselves turned here. We got the first notch of flaps in. There's 140 something knots. Gonna speed it. A little bit of throttle back in here. Get ourselves straightened up here. Looking down the runway, lined up with the runway anyway. Need 5,000 at Jerry, and we are not there yet. Get on down to 2,600. Let's get our VNAP off. Gears coming down. We're still a little ways from our final approach fix. We are at about 140 knots. Definitely in the soup. I need 2,600 and I need it pretty soon.
altitude.
We're coming up on our 2,600 knots, and there's a runway in front of us. I have the lights. We are lining up. There's 2,500 is bugged. Actually, I need altitude of 2,600 bugged. We should be coming up at it right now. And I can go to approach mode. It's going to pick up our glide slope. All right. Left. We are lined up. We are in approach mode. Glide slope is armed. And Deja is where we'll pick up the final approach fix and the glide slope. 2,600. $600. Glide path is coming in. We actually have captured vertical glide path now. 2 white, 2 red, 2-6 left. We're lined up. We are coming in. Well below our minimum, or well before our minimums. See the snowflake there on the left of the altitude bug? That's coming down. That's indicating we're out on glide path. You see in the center, top center, VGP is highlighted in green. We're still on autopilot. Glide path is coming in perfect. I see on the runway down there, 2 red, 2 white. Runway 26 left is dead in front of us. And we should be coming up on our final here shortly. Probably a 2-mile final. A little fast. We'll pull a little speed. We'll bring in a little bit spoilers here, try to get us down in that 114 range. Full flaps, gear down, gears indicated. In the green, 3 in the green. 117, 116.
Final runway 26 left.
2-mile final, 26 left. Glide slopes captured, 111. Spoilers are out. 1800. Completely lined up. There's 111. Throttles are set. This is our approach speed. Autopilot's coming off.
500.
Minimum.
Throttles are idle. I don't know what happened there. Huh. Interesting. I don't think that was a bad landing. That looked pretty smooth to me. I think the sim crashed. Not real sure. Guess it's possible I hit a little hard, but it didn't feel like it. We were at idle, just a couple of notches, and we looked like we were floating there just a little bit. So anyway, can't win them all. We lost our ATC halfway here, and the landing didn't go so well, even though it looked mighty smooth on my end. So we're going to call that a night, and appreciate you joining in with us this evening. Pretty sure the sim actually locked up. That's what happened. But anyway, until next time, we'll see ya.